Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. Today is July 31st. Today is the last day of July. Tomorrow is August. Looking at the overall economical calendar, at 2 o'clock, we have a Fed senior loan survey. I don't think that's going to overall affect the market. Tomorrow, we have PMI, ISM. Wednesday, we have ADP. Thursday, we have jobless numbers. And Friday, we have non-farm payroll. So make sure you guys check this out. Overall, let's jump over to the watch list. We have a lot of stocks to talk about, especially since it is still earnings. We have Amazon reporting earnings this week on the 3rd after hours. So definitely want to keep an eye on this stock as it continues this possible uptrend. We're above the trade line over here. RSI is getting a little bit more overextended. But you can see if we start to break that 134, we can start basically pushing up towards 135, maybe even 136 up here. To the downside, we want to watch for us to break 131, which is going to be the break of the trade line. And we can start possibly going to 130, maybe lower. So keep Amazon on the watch list. Next one we're going to talk about is Apple. Apple has earnings on the 3rd as well. Make sure you guys keep this in watch. The stock is on an overall uptrend. If we look at it from basically like a year to date, the stock's on an uptrend. Want to see if it basically breaks that 198 over here. It struggled to break 198 before. So we want to see if it breaks it, and then we could possibly go higher to 200, maybe even higher. To the downside, we want to see if it breaks below 195, and we could start going down towards 192. Another stock that has earnings today, not today, but in general this week, is going to be actually tomorrow. I think pre-market. Uber has earnings tomorrow pre-market. So I want to see how that performs. You can see Uber is actually a low key, has been on an upward trend. You guys can see that beautiful step and staircase pattern. So definitely want to see if it breaks above that 48.95 or 49, and then could start going to 50, maybe even higher. Um, Definitely want to keep an eye on this stock. You know me, I don't really play earnings, but the day after earnings or after reports earnings, you could always see a nice move on the stocks after they report earnings, whether it be to the upside or downside. It's going to move drastically. So look at this possible stock, possible movement. So make sure you guys set your alert on the stock and stay aware for Uber basically because even pre-market's making a high of basically 48.94, and it does have earnings tomorrow morning. So let's see what happens. Sometimes you get a pre-earnings run up, and then after earnings, you get that move up or down. So definitely want to keep this in the watch list to see what overall happens and set your alerts. The downside, want to watch Uber to see if it breaks 48, then you can start going to 46 and possibly lower. Next stock we're going to talk about is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is still trapped sideways over here. I kind of want to see it break above 480, especially since it's struggled 480 multiple times. I want to see if it breaks 480, then we can start going to 500, probably even higher. To the downside, I want to watch 463, and we can start going towards 452. Next one we're going to talk about is Tesla. Tesla is basically struggling to break above that 1 year trade line. 1 year trade line is sitting around like 267. So let's see what happens. She has the possibility to break it overall. The 1 year is crossed down. She still is below that 1 year trade line. So we could easily reject this zone over here. So probably want to see if we break and hold above 270 before we get into Tesla, especially if it's struggling to break these 1 year trade lines over here. So let's see what happens. Tesla has been bullish ever since it double bottomed over here. You can see a double bottom at 255, and we've been bullish. So we could continue this bullish trend. We could possibly break through that, especially the MACD is crossed up over here. RSI has room to travel on the 180 day. If we jump over towards the 20 day, 20 day is crossed up as well above the trade line. So we could possibly push up from these 267 levels, possibly to even towards that 273 level. So perfectly possible. You can see that the SMA is right there at that 273. I don't see why we can't really retest that. So let's see what happens with Tesla. To the downside, it's kind of a lot of support to the downside. I wouldn't want to really short this thing unless it gets below at least like 164 or even, yeah, 164 over here. That SMA and the trade lines acting as support on the 180 day. Once we start getting below 164, then we could get some nice short positions to the downside. Next stock we're going to talk about is going to be actually Roku. Roku had earnings last week. Roku didn't move for earnings, but after the day after earnings, you can see it basically made a drastic move from like 72 to like 86. Pre-market high is like 91.50. You want to watch to see if it breaks that level, then we can start going to $95. Make sure you guys watch out. Our side is a little bit more on the overbought side, but it's in the red. It can continue to the downside. Watch for a break of 89. Then she could go to 84 on Roku. Last but not least, we're going to talk about SPY. SPY is basically crossing up on the 20-day over here, staying above that 20-day trade line. We have a resistance at 457, which we rejected it multiple times. It was a previous support. Want to watch to see if we break above 457 today, and we could possibly start going higher, maybe even retest that 458 over here. To the downside, we want to see if we break that 20-day trade line and that 180-day trade line for a possible downward trend, right? You can see that we have support at 456, and we can start going 455. 455 is going to be the main area you want to watch for a possible short position, especially since this was strong support before. Below 455, we can start going down towards 453. So keep that on watch. That's going to be it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.